and in hopes of a couple things. If they get big and become famous or rich or it becomes their career, great. But more importantly, sports will add to the personality, of the kids, helping them face adversity. This, you're down by this many touchdowns or points and you have to fight back, rally, work together. You're not having a great game. As a coach for young kids, like you have kids that cry and you got to go and talk to them and then get them back in the game and then they score a touchdown. Just imagine how that kid feels going from like, I stink, I'm crying, I don't want to play anymore. And you get a conversation with someone as an adult that who you're going to understand, who's your coach. So you'll respect their words and they're like, get
Right.
back out there and let's do it. And you score a touchdown. That's a lesson that like sports can teach you in one instant that other things can't.
Hmm. So you're saying putting your child in sports early, it's sort of an investment, not only if it turns out to be good, right? And also teaching them something in life, meaning, I don't know, not giving up, keep pushing,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Based
so
on
it is an
adversity.
investment.
Absolutely. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Kids should play sports. And that's
Mm.
not the end all be all. There's other things that you can do, but it definitely helps in their confidence. Kids, it's been proven through studies and surveys that kids who play sports tend to have more confidence on average than kids who don't.
Mm. Gotcha. All right. Well, just want to say what's up to everybody. Welcome to the One Mic episode 11. This is your boy CV Tech One. That's my brother Gio. And yeah, we came out the gates just on some stuff. So Gio's like, "Yo, I'm ready to go." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." Uh,
Yeah.
so we just go in. There's no rehearsal and all that. So you know what? It's funny because I told Gio most of the things that, like, if I write something down and we have a conversation, somehow, some way, things just tie into it.
Yeah, we get to it, right? It gets
It's
covered.
just so weird, bro.
Hey.
And the first thing I wrote down had nothing to do with like what you just said, but it ties in. So I was gonna ask you really quick, what's one thing that makes you nervous today? Like still today, it's something you think about and it makes you nervous. Because to me, just talking about the kids,
Mhm.
to me, that makes me nervous. Just like how is my kid gonna grow up to be, how he's, how people see him as, and how people's gonna try to take his confidence away, his ability away. Um, and just like trying to picture how the world is and whatever I've personally experienced. Now he has to experience it and how he's gonna have to deal with it. You know what I mean? So I think that would be one of the things for me. So, but what makes you nervous still to this day?
Yeah, first of all, what's up to Devontae and Gabby already in the chat firing it up. Appreciate, y'all being ready to go when we're ready to go. So I love it, so thanks for being there. For me, I think it's letting those close to me and those that rely on me down, I guess is my biggest thing that makes me nervous in that regard. And in this case, right now it's with my kids, you know what I mean? I want to make sure that, you know, being present as a dad is the most important thing you can do, just being there. But then on another whole level, it's many of us unfortunately have been in situations we have dads at home or a mom at home, but they're negative. They take away, they do more damage than do they good. It's almost like it's better off not having that negative person than having that negative person. If that makes sense?
Hmm.
So I want to not only be present, but I want to be positive. And I want to be, the Google for my kids. You know what I mean? And I may not have all the information like Google does. You know what I mean? I can't just pull all the facts and knowledge out of my brain. But what I do better than Google, I believe, is the answer that I give to their question is coming from a place of love and caring, right?
Mm.
That understanding that like whatever answer I give you is coming through my filter, my personal experience, but it's for your best interest. You may not like it. I'm going to tell you the truth, but that's why, I tell my kids, like, I'm your Google. You know what I mean? I may not be as good as Google, but I'm better in some ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's now. Our answer is sort of kind of similar. Now, is it us growing up? Is it us getting old? What is it? Why are we so devoted into our kids? Is it because I don't know? Is it the past? Maybe we we've had conversation off air about parents being there, especially maybe our father, but we'll leave that alone for another time. But do you think that's what it is? Why we focus so much on our kids? Where does that come from?
Um, I think personally, it comes from just a fundamental natural state of when you create something that's of your blood and of your flesh, then you care for it. You care for it like your own personal bubble, from a survival perspective, it's you, right? You're the most important thing because that you're all that matters. And when you have kids and a family, that bubble expands to them now, right?
Right.
Them, you mess with my kids, you're messing with me, right?
Right.
So that natural instinct automatically comes out when you have kids, and then when you add like time being alive between the 20s and 40s, you're learning and you're gathering, and if you have that inclination about you that you want to help people, and care for others and teach those that come in after you, the ones that are going to take care of you potentially when you're older or for whatever reason it is, like
Right.
those are the people you want to focus on. Those are the people you want to help.
Yeah. Have you had that conversation with your kids already? Because I have. The When you get older, man. So I try to do the best I can now because,
I take care of you so you can take care of me.
bro, it's going to be my turn one day, very
um,
quickly. As a matter of fact, I mean, I'm already up there, man.
I have briefly, I've joked with my daughter and I was like, yeah, one, I've told my kids, like, look, originally it's, as a parent, or jokingly or whatever, you're like 18, you're out. You got to go.
Yeah,
Go out. You ain't got to go wherever, but you got to get out of here,
we
right?
don't mean it.
Of course you don't. But now,
Right.
and I've literally told my kids this, like, you want to go to college, you want to stay here. Why would I set my kids up for failure? I'm not gonna handicap them in any kind of way. Work. You're gonna work, but you're gonna work for
Yeah.
yourself. You're gonna save your money. You're gonna go to school. You're gonna focus on that and not worry about paying rent. And if you want to move out, great. But there's always a place for you to come back. Always a place for you to
Yeah.
stay. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually we're gonna move back in together because either you're gonna need me or I'm gonna need you. This is kind of, you know what I mean? So
That's why I'm getting that started, man. I was like, hey, these conversations got to happen. We got to put it in the air. And I'm lucky. The person that I talked to is very understanding of it.
yeah,
So
and you got to put in that deposit. And you're like, again, you're not putting these deposits of love as a father because you're going to take a withdrawal in 40 years, right? You put it in
mhm,
there because you know that you're investing in this bank, the child, the relationship, right? So
right.
when there is a time that you need to withdraw, they'll drop everything and come get you. You know what I mean? When you're 60 and you fall from the ladder trying to paint, and they come to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a withdrawal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, I wasn't gonna go right into it, but maybe we can just because we're just talking about it. We can probably skip a whole segment. We'll do a U-turn and come back to it. Like I said, maybe we could briefly touch on Dwayne Haskins, a football player who passed away. I believe it was Saturday. Uh, Only 24 years old, and this guy had a lot going for him. Whether you liked him as a player or not, whether he was a backup quarterback or a starter, really doesn't matter because when a 24-year-old person dies that kind of way, it makes you think. And the reason I want to bring it up now, and it's something we was going to probably touch up on, but we're talking about kids. And like I said, sometimes everything just comes around.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, it's crazy because when I saw this come up on my timeline, I was just like, I was sad. Like I don't really know the player like that, but when I found out he was only 24, and I know he got drafted by Washington. What names are they going by now? Commander, Washington
Commanders.
Commanders.
Yeah.
He didn't really play well, but now that I think about it, there was a lot of stuff happening over there, anyways, that we probably don't know, and is actually coming out now. So, maybe the guy was just not focused over there, and Pittsburgh Steelers picked him up, and I was looking forward to see what he can do this year with Mike Tomlin, just being in a different environment because we'll see what's going to come out this year. So I don't want to speculate too much with that team, but I can see where you know things could be distraction over there. So yeah, so we're talking about kids, and to see a 24-year-old lose his life like that, man, it kind of hit me. Like I said, I don't know too much about him, but there was something about what other people were saying about the guy. And I think that's what was really hitting me. Like, wow, you forget, like, yeah, this is a young kid, man. This is a person who just lost their lives, and a person like me who's not related to the guy, I was looking forward to see what he can do. He's
Right.
already beat so many obstacles through his life, especially when he was a young kid. I read a little bit about his background, and it's like, I'm in the NFL. My dreams is coming true, and then it cuts short just like that.
Hmm.
Um, how do you feel about hearing the news like this, Jill? Like a 24-year-old kid losing his life like that, man?
I think it's always tragic when a young person loses their life. They transition out of this world early. You know what I mean? It's always tragic, especially from my perspective. Like
Yeah,
I'm a lot older than him. Like 97, like I was a senior in high school, like when he was born. But
yeah,
for him to, it's for him to have the success that he's had, making it to the NFL, and it wasn't like, picture perfect because he wasn't starting and he wasn't as successful as, as he could have been. But he was in the pros. You know what I mean? And more
yeah,
importantly, it's just not even the sports, but just think of like his parents, his family. So like,
yeah,
you know, prayers and condolences to them because that's a young man who is probably a pillar in his family. You know what I mean?
right.
He because a lot of times those NFL players they're pulling their whole entire family out of the muck. I don't know his background. I don't know where he's from like that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
since we're talking about it, I'm gonna just give my two pieces of it. It's just a sad story altogether. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah. It
so
is sad because even I think Adam Schefter, who always breaks the NFL news and a lot of news when it comes to sports, actually, but he focuses more on football, and he tweeted right away. It's sad. My condolences go to the family. And then he put in a word in his tweet that said he struggled with this team. It's like people went crazy, man. Because like, do
that
you
ain't the
really
time to
need?
do it. That's
It's,
not the
it's
time to do that.
it's really not
You
the
know what I mean?
time, bro. Like, say rest in peace because, like you said, he has a wife, a mother, a father
Right.
who look up to this guy, and this is not the time.
Yeah.
Actually, Twitter went crazy and they want him fired. I don't think he should be fired, but I don't know. I think it's just poor taste.
Just cancel
And
him, right? Just cancel
yeah,
him because he's
yeah,
insensitive in tweeting.
yeah. I'm actually happy though to see a lot of the football players, like big names, stand up, for this guy who's not. It's like, why would you say that at a time like this? As if like you're still a reporter. Like you're a human being.
Yeah.
You should see the human side of this, and think twice about it. So,
Yeah, I didn't see
um,
the tweet, but like, I mean, that's the thing about like
yeah,
messaging people and texts and tweets is like you have to be very careful. And these days, people you have to be super careful, and especially in a situation like this, just
yeah,
don't make. I mean, if he's reporting information and saying, hey, kind of like for those of y'all who don't know who he is, he played. Even then, you could still be like, yeah, he played for the Washington whatever team and then got traded to the Steelers where he was, fighting for a starting position. That's really it,
right.
right?
That's
You
fine.
ain't got to be like, oh, he was struggling, you know what I mean? But I didn't see it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sad though because I was really looking forward to seeing what he can do this year, man. I think with Mike Tomlin, man, I don't know. Um, I think something could have happened there, man, and it's it's so goddamn sad, man. And I will say this, man, and I think you and I talked personally about some stuff, and I think I'm going to make even more effort to reach out to people, like you said, the texting and the tweets and all that stuff. Me, I rather talk to you, call you 1-on-1. So therefore, there's no miscommunication. You're hearing it from the horse's mouth. And I think stuff like this, and I hate it that it usually takes death for people to
Usually.
talk
Yeah.
that way. Usually it's at the funeral where you'll see your buddies and go, yo, man, we need to get together more. But
Yeah.
like, it sucks that it takes someone's life to make you realize like yours is pretty precious as well. you could go any given time.
I know a lot of
So,
people may have said it, but DMX said it. Like if it there wouldn't be joy if it wasn't for pain, right? So like,
mhm,
and it kind of like it circles around itself because like one of the reasons why losing a loved one like that is so damaging to the emotional psyche
yeah,
is the things left unsaid, the things left undone, you know what I mean? Like those are the things, and obviously that you're not going to see them anymore in the fitness
yeah,
physical form. So that is part of it. But like I think when somebody and you've exchanged all the things that you need to exchange, and you guys were open and honest with one another. When they go on, yeah, you're still going to miss them. It's still going to be sad, but it's
right.
going to hurt a little less because they knew everything. Everything was said. Everything was done. And the only things that are like, I mean, I'll say only, but the things that are hurt moving forward is when you are having a good day, like man, such and such would have loved this. You know what I mean? But you
Right.
got to look at that from a positive perspective. You just like to remembering people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, don't be afraid to reach out, man. Don't let this social media thing get into your too much into your life because yeah, reach out, man. Doesn't make you less than a man. It doesn't make you less than a woman. Doesn't make you less than a person. Even sometimes when you're wrong, just try. Try and see where it goes. If it doesn't go anywhere and you're like, you know what? It's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
At least you can live with it after that, you know? You can
Just
live
gotta
with
have
it.
you gotta
So
have an open mind, man, and kind of like detach yourself from whatever the situation is and try to understand maybe it's a miscommunication because a lot of times that's the case.
it
When
is.
people get mad at other people is because the way they said it, the way it filtered out of them and filtered into you, and you may be feeling a certain type of way, or maybe you're holding on to something, or they are holding on to something, so you're making assumptions. And when you get to assuming, like it gets crazy.
Assuming is just a terrible word. I
Yeah,
dislike that
being
word,
open and
man.
on. You know what's a fact? Your honest opinion of something, right?
Mm.
It's like, hey, do you like peanut butter and strawberry jam, or do you like peanut butter and grape jam? And I don't want to start a war, but if you ain't liking strawberry, you got problems. I'm just gonna throw it. That grape stuff's got to go, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I can see it in your shirt. You like strawberries. You looking like
Yes.
a strawberry.
What up, BBT? Welcome.
All right. Well, it's funny. So let me ask you this question real quick
Oh
because
snap. Oh ships, as they
it's
say.
nothing. It's nothing crazy.
Nah, let's go.
We're
Let's
just doing a U-turn
go.
back to this hot mic. So let me ask you a question, man. Because my son, my girlfriend, and I, we were discussing it right here, right in that seat, right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to Florida
Yeah.
Sunday. So we were having discussion about carry on and suitcases.
Hmm.
What's can a carry on become a suitcase? Is that a thing?
Um.
Because so I'll tell you this because they said it needs to be 24 by 17 by 9. But if it exceeds the weight of 50 pounds, in my opinion, you can't put it overhead. It goes
Right.
with the luggage. So, in my point of view, it becomes a suitcase.
Well, they're all suitcases. I mean, so the only thing that determines in this situation a carry-on are those three dimensions that you mentioned, right?
Right.
It not weight. As far as I know, it could be 1,000 pounds, which is not going to be realistic. But you know what I mean. There isn't a weight limit for a carry-on unless it specifies it. I don't know.
No, it is 50. It is now.
So carry-ons can't be no, but a check-in is 50. It's always been 50.
Right. But they have it as 52. We got the email. But but the question is though, can it, go, is it, if it exceeds the weight or the size, to me, it's not a carry on anymore. You can't call it a carry on.
If it exceeds the size, it's automatically not a carry-on because that's one of the
Okay.
requirements. But the
Okay.
weight, I don't know. You know what I mean? So what happened? Did she have like a carry-on that weighed like 102 pounds? Like what?
No, the discussion was just I was like, look, it seems to me you're with the dimensions is correct. So you're good. It's still a
Yep.
carry on. But I said just try to keep it under
It
50
was
because
52
if it
pounds.
right now it's not a carry on.
Yeah,
It's
you don't
a
want to bring
suitcase.
anything. You don't want to bring anything over
Right.
50 pounds. Yeah.
But the argument was it's still a carry on. I'm like, no, it's not.
I think it is.
You don't.
Hey,
it
chat,
is.
get in
You think
there.
it is
Get
what?
it. If it fits within the 3 dimensions
Right.
and under 50 pounds, it's a
Right.
carry-on.
Yes. But if
You're
it's
saying
over, I
if
don't
it's
think it's.
over, okay, anything that's over 50, you're gonna pay extra if you want it to be on the plane.
But it's no longer carry on. It's a suitcase now.
No, it's a carry-on that's just expensive, I guess.
No, no, but you have to. You can't put it overhead in
Look, dude, I
because you
like
go
this.
over the limit. You now it goes under the plane with the other stuff. So with the suitcases. So now it's called a suitcase.
If it fits, it ships. I like it. Thank you, BBT. See, if it fits within the dimensions and if it's over the weight, even because they don't weigh carry-ons, do they? They don't.
Now they are.
If you could sneak it past it, we're not. I
No,
guess.
but my point is though,
How you sneaking a carry-on?
does it so if it's over the limit, do you still call it a carry-on? Because you're not carrying it on the
No,
plane.
the
Not,
only
not
thing the only thing that will determine if it's carry-on or a check-in is the dimensions. If it's too big to be called a carry-on, it's automatically a check-in. Now, either one, now they don't weigh check-in. I mean carry-ons. They don't weigh them in. So they're not gonna know. You're gonna drag it onto the plane. You know what I mean?
no. Now they have that on this flight. The weight matters,
The weight always matters though.
right? But not. But like you said, not a carry-on. But now it does.
If I have if I have a fanny pack that weighs 52 pounds, it meets the dimensions. It's going to be sitting in my lap. I don't check in that fanny pack because it's $52. They're not going to, I mean, 52 pounds. They're not going to know that. So I'm going to have a 52-pound fanny pack chilling as a carry on.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna. Well, yeah.
I'm not checking that
Visually,
in.
you can just tell though.
No, I mean,
Like,
that's at the extreme level, but what I'm saying, but if it
right.
fits, no matter the weight, right? And again, you mentioned that they last I flew was 8 months ago. You just put it in that little square container that some engineer created, and if your bag fits in it, you could take it on a plane as a carry-on.
No, but those are for backpacks, handbags,
Carry-ons.
right? What we're talking about that dimension now, we're talking about overhead,
That's carry-on.
right?
Well, I mean, you got
So,
like a backpack and a carry-on is what you can carry. That's kind of
right,
how that works. And then you have a check-in if you want to do it,
right.
right? But
But
they both fall into the same dimensions.
but to
Backpacks.
me, but if it's if it's over the limit of 50 pounds, to me, it's a suitcase. It's not a carry-on
I
because they're not gonna
mean,
let you put it in the plane. I mean, not in the plane, but overhead.
my thing is, and we're arguing maybe it's
Maybe I'm
semantics at
bugging.
this point. But my understanding is the only requirement I checked was the dimensions. If it meets the dimensions, no one's checking or asking any extra questions because usually something that fits in that dimension is gonna be within the weight limit, unless you're carrying bricks like concrete. Normally, those are gonna. BBT's never flown, huh? Damn, BBT, get
Mm,
in it.
yeah. Wow. Never
Yeah.
flown anywhere. But have you driven to different places, like maybe out of state?
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like to fly too, so that's one thing too.
Yeah, there are a
Um,
lot of people that are afraid of it, but like, I mean, what are they afraid of? You're gonna die? Is that what it is? Don't more people
maybe,
die in car accidents than they do in flying? Why aren't you afraid of? You know what I mean? It's like it may be lack of control, being in the air, being in a confined
yeah,
space. Everyone's got their thing. You got to figure out how to fix that or avoid it. I mean,
yeah. It's like the roller coaster thing. It's like, why would you put yourself in that position?
yeah, but you're gonna miss out on Egypt, Fiji, Paris, Texas,
No, but I'm
Canada.
talking. Yeah, me, I fly, so I don't. I mean, it
Yeah,
is
great.
scary. I get nervous a little bit, but I've learned to just you know So I've always been in the car. Yeah, a lot of people don't like. I mean, even musicians, man. That's why they get bus because some of them just can't deal with it. They rather be in a bus and just drive to
Yeah,
the next
John Madden is
location.
a famous one, right? He would go. He would take his
Yeah,
Madden bus everywhere. He would not fly. But I get it. And some
yeah.
people, they have like that one flight that was like, no, mm-mm, you know.
Here's something that, and this guy, one of our best friends, Louis, and we still till this day fight about this. about tank top and a jersey. Because he's always said jersey is a tank top and a tank top is a jersey. And I'm just like, no, they have two different names. And if I go to the store and I say, hey, I need to get a jersey, they're going to say, what kind of jersey? I'm going to say, well, basketball. They're not going to take me to tank top section. They're going to take me to jersey section. How do you feel about jersey and tank tops?
We're gonna argue all day, aren't we? Um, episode
No,
11. Episode 11 is the one that's gonna happen. No, I mean, without thinking too crazy about it, yes, they are different. A tank top, but what is it like? You look at it. What's a tank top? It's a shirt with no sleeves, right? Do we agree or do we disagree?
I agree.
Right? Is a jersey a shirt or is a jersey a jersey?
Jersey's a jersey.
So it's automatically different things.
In my opinion, yes.
A
And tank
jersey just
top,
happens to have sleeves off too, like a tank, but they're not the same thing.
right.
Okay,
So if you go
so
to a store and you say, hey, let me get a tank top, they won't give you a jersey.
yeah, if you're expecting that, then you probably
Okay.
no.
It's
A
just
tank
what
top. A tank top's also called a wife beater. She said, not necessarily BBT, because a tank top. I
I
mean, some
mean,
people call them tank tops. Yes, but a tank top is basically a shirt, square without sleeves. Then you
right.
have an A shirt, which is also a wife beater, which is also called a tank top,
I'm
depending on where
surprised
you're
that
at.
I'm surprised they haven't
Got
canceled
rid of
wife
wife beater.
beater, bro. The way the
It,
world is today, I'm
Yeah.
shocked they
People don't
haven't
use
got
it
rid of it.
anymore. And still people that don't know it's called an A shirt. Like T-shirt, because it's shaped like a T, right? T shirt. A shirt because the tank top is kind of shaped like an A when you're holding it. People don't know that. You're welcome.
So if we ban that name, what do we call it?
It's an A shirt. It's what it's
Under
called. It just so
undershirt?
happened every time people were beating their
Don't
wives.
go
I
there.
don't say every
Don't go there, dude.
when the cops showed up after their long day at work, they had the button off, they had the T-shirt off, and they had just the A shirt. They've had enough.
Bro.
I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. I kid. I kid.
Every joke has a truth in it, dude.
But it's already called a wife beater. So, like, I'm not wrong. I didn't invent it. What are you talking about?
No, I agree with you. I just
I
didn't want
think
to
I
say it.
call it A shirt. And people look at me crazy. It gives me an opportunity to explain to them what an A shirt is.
I'm shocked that they haven't changed that because my girlfriend was watching TMZ the other day, and I'm just sitting there, kind of like just laying there, just not minding my business. I'm listening too, but not really watching. And one of the girl, because like if you watch TMZ, especially the one on TV, so they all sit in a group and they just have a conversation.
Uh-huh.
And I forgot what they were talking about, but the host Harvey, he goes, "Oh, that's actually smart because that person's killing two birds with one stone." And the girl stood up, was like, "You can't say that. Peter does not want people to say that."
Oh,
I was
killing
like,
two birds
"What?"
with one stone. Yeah, I mean, look,
I was,
man.
I was like, "We're trying to get rid of. If you can't say a phrase like that,
The problem,
how's the wife beater still around?"
the problem with it is it should be intent, but the problem is it's
Yeah,
hard to prove intent. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I was joking about the wife beater shirt. But like if you listen to entire conversation or you know me personally and you know how I am, like you would know how to take that.
Yeah.
But in the world we live in, you have so many people that don't know you, and then things like this, like we have it in our podcast where you got like context matters. You know what I mean? The way you say things, and also people can cut up video footage and make you sound like you just said, some crazy stuff when you really didn't. So
It, that's true though, man. But it's just like, remember last week we were talking about that Speed kid, the one that's getting canceled by
yeah,
everybody all of a sudden now. This week it's even worse.
yeah.
Um, and I was saying, where do you draw the line? So now people are offended if you say kill two birds with one stone.
Look, man.
Like, bro, where's the line? Where are we going with this? It's just,
I
I don't
mean,
know,
look,
man.
how many birds are we killing in Thanksgiving? Killing a lot. Go. I bet you Peter has a problem with Thanksgiving. I don't know it, but I bet you every year they're like,
Yeah,
uh,
but
nothing
like you
against
said, but
Peter. Keep whatever,
but there's
keep
the
the animals
actual
safe.
animal though involved, and there's the actual act. But to say, "Oh, you killed two birds with one stone" as a phrase, you
Yeah,
want to
it's,
get
it's
rid of that?
hey.
Come on, bro. Now we can't say cougars anymore. Now everybody's offended by
But
that.
guess what? Here's the thing. These things haven't it changes over time. Like the word wench, pardon me, right? Like it was normal, but then it was depicting like older women without kids were considered wenches, and it had a bad connotation over years. And now you can't even call. People don't even use it.
What are they called now? Gold diggers?
I'm not getting. I don't.
Because they're all for self. They don't have kids. They don't want to, populate. And they're just like, you know what? I'm gonna give me a rich man and just live.
Things are more complicated now. There's more labels,
Yeah,
and
I
you
don't
can
know, man.
identify about it or not. It's up to you. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I think we just gotta stop, man. This world being so sensitive. I mean, in certain instances, I do like it because, you know, people are talking about mental health. So I like that because the stigma was like, oh, you're soft if you said something like that. But I think people are more open to that, to the mental stuff. So I think that's good. But when you're talking about a simple phrase like that, like, come
yeah,
on.
but I think that's those two things that you're talking about, the one you agree and the one you disagree with a little bit more, they come from the same consciousness or frequency the same thing that's causing one is causing the other. You know what I'm saying? The sensitivity to be able to up
Right.
and communicate honestly is the same way we're like, no, you can't say red skin. You can't say wife beater. You can't say, what was that other one? Um, anything, you know what I mean? You can't say those things. You can't say wench. You know what I mean? Because now it's all about because it seems like the world is shifting from like how it was so harsh before and how now we're being a little it's overcorrecting like a pendulum. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these bad boys right here. You know, look at this bad boy right here. You see this? That's all it's doing. It goes from one way to the other. Eventually it'll, center itself or
This
something will push it another way.
This Geo just pulled his science project on us. What's going on with this guy? this, this man pulled out his science
Yeah.
project on us, man.
You know. Science is a is
Uh
a is a good topic. I like it. It's more
yeah.
physics, but
So since we talked about Dwayne Haskins, also rest in peace to Gilbert Gottfried, comedian who passed away as well. Uh, I know he had some weird comedy, and the way he tells jokes is different. I kind of enjoyed the guy a little bit, so rest in peace to him. And I think the next topic I want to ask you, Gio, do you have like a top three comedians that you really, really enjoy watching?
um
Or just give me one and I'll give you one and then you give me another one and we'll go back and forth that way.
uh
Doesn't have to
there,
be,
there's a couple, and I'm not going to go to the obvious places, but
yeah.
there's one guy, an Italian dude. His name goes by Maniscalco. He's Italian. He's very Italian. You know, he does that Italian thing really good. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maniscalco is his last name. I can't remember his first name, but my wife likes him too, and he's very physical with his comedy. Just think
Yeah.
of like just think of like Italian folks. I would presume would understand is like that one. Well, I guess regardless of what culture you come from, everybody has that family member that's just funny. You know what I mean? Just tells a story, everybody shuts up and listens, and it's a good time when they show up, right?
Mm.
That's kind of how he is, but in an Italian kind of way. So Maniscalco is one of them, I think. Um,
I've
let me
never
see.
heard of that
Oh,
name.
Maniscalco's
So
great. He's really good.
see, now I'm going to have to
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah. I would recommend that
Um,
y'all check him out. It's pretty good. Um,
well, let me give you one and then we'll
yeah.
go back and forth that
Yeah.
way. Cat Williams is a pretty good one. Devontae said in the chat.
Mhm.
Uh, Gabriel. Oh, yeah, I know Gabriel. That's that big dude. He's he's funny too.
Gabriel Iglesias, he does a little high pitched voice.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
dude, bro.
Fluffy. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah,
Fluffy's
yeah.
great.
He's a funny dude, man.
Yeah.
Steve says Sebastian.
Sebastian Maniscalco. That's his, Steve got it. Thank you. I appreciate it, my
Oh,
brother.
that's the guy. Okay,
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
okay.
He's hilarious. I know Steve used to love, comedians. He was low key comedian too, man. Like he could have did his time in stand up, back in the day.
Yeah, see the only thing about Steve, he can Geo, but the only thing I remember about Steve is like he'll start cracking up before he even says the whole joke. Like he'll
I know.
Steve used to say his joke and just laugh at it. It don't matter if anybody thinks it's funny. He'll just go, "The sky is blue." Like,
Yeah, but don't be the one that becomes the butt of a joke because once it starts, people start riding on you. Oh, it's a wrap. It's a
well,
wrap.
that's why. See, I got the mic. That's why I can say, it, and he can't say anything but just type it in the chat. So I'm getting away with it right now. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you one of mine, and like Gio said, like yeah, we can throw the the easy names out there, the Cat Williams and Eddie Murphys, but I'm gonna go with Patrice O'Neal.
Old school.
Don't sleep on Patrice O'Neal.
Rip.
Okay, rest in peace to
Legend.
that man.
Legend.
Man, I look. I'll say this, man. If you're very sensitive nowadays, I probably wouldn't watch him.
Yeah, Patrice O'Neal is one of those people that he's passed now. For those who don't know who he is, he passed away a couple of years back, and
Yep.
he was just one of those. He told it like it is. He was honest. He had a lot of issues with women because of the way that he grew up and how he ended up going to jail, being falsely accused or falsely accused for like rape or sexual assault, something like that. So it gave him
Yep.
a really skewed up perspective from women. So a lot of his comedy and the way that he talked about women was not great. So I can only imagine how he would be today, and
But
because he's not going to change, he
not
wouldn't change.
not great, but funny though.
There's an
You know, you,
honesty and a
yeah.
realness to it. Yeah, absolutely. Richard
Oh
Pryor
man.
for sure. Yeah, like Devontae
Yeah.
said,
Richard
Richard Pryor.
Pryor's up there, man.
So
Hey, do yourself
I'm
a
trying to
favor.
stay away. Yeah, I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to go to like stuff that you guys may not see or people you may not know, and I'm trying to do it on the fly because there's a couple of names in my head that I just can't
Correct. I
remember.
would definitely say Patrice O'Neal. Look up his stand up in 2007. Probably one of the best thing I've ever freaking seen. Not seven. 2017. And he also got another one called Mr. P. And he's got another one that he did on Comedy Central. I forgot the name. Look that
Mm.
up. He would be one of the biggest comedians today. Because let's be honest, they would probably go after him trying to cancel him. I don't think you can cancel that guy, man.
Yeah,
Because
he was.
all you're
He
doing is
was.
gonna feed him. That's all
He's
you're
one of
gonna
those
do.
guys that he didn't hit the fame. He was like underground. Like he was like he hit fame because he was on Def Jam, right? Like years ago. You know what I mean? So people knew who he was, but he was not mainstream, right? He's just one of those like he's kind of like a little rough around the edges.
Right.
Bill Burr is almost kind of like that. When people always gotta like think twice when you have him on a talk show. Like you ever seen those YouTube videos of him on like a talk show and they're like, he's like, you guys didn't do your homework before you brought me on here, did you? Because like
Yeah.
they're
And
like, it's
guess
a
what?
morning show. Like, yeah, and I'm Bill Burr.
It- Bill Burr. That's Patrice O'Neal's kids right there.
Yeah,
They were
they're friends.
homies.
They're
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, absolutely. Um,
So
speaking of comedian, right? Recently, and we didn't. I'm just saying this kind of on the fly. Jim Carrey just retired. You see that?
no.
Jim Carrey. So he was
Retired from comedy or
from
movies or
acting, from acting, and we
uh,
say comedian because he's a comedian, and I mean, he's an
yeah.
actor comedian. But he retired. He's like late 60s, something like that. I want to say, and he was doing an interview for the Sonic movie that he just did. He's the bad guy for it, right?
Yep.
And they were and he basically was talking about they're like what else, what's next, or whatever the case is, and his word specifically was I have enough. So he's basically like, you don't hear this from Hollywood and actors in Hollywood. He goes, I have enough, I've done enough. And it was another statement that he made to it, but basically saying like, I don't need to do anymore. He said outside of like maybe a script coming to him and some kind of divine feeling or something comes that he is like the best person to fit that role kind of thing, or it just
Yeah.
speaks to him in a way that it like, that he should do it. He'll then come out of retirement, but other than that, he's retired-ish. So Jim Carrey, as we all know, man, he's been around for a long time. He's been doing comedy for a long time. He has some of the great movies. So while we're on topic of comedies, I want to
And
give him his flowers
skits,
and
man.
all that. Great.
Skits.
And,
And Live in
and
Color.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. People forget. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. Come
Fire
on,
Marshal
man.
Bill, like get out of here. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
he's like the only comedian that can actually break a leg and an arm or some sort of limb by doing comedy.
Yeah,
Like,
he's that physical with his comedy. Yeah, his
yeah,
facial features and all that. And he came from humble beginnings. Like he lived in a car. His family was poor.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then you could see him now. And I think that's one of the notes that I took from Dame Dash latest video is one of the things I guess we may touch up today. But Dame Dash is a great person to listen to in interviews. Without being
yes.
too crazy with it. I love the period in which we're living now, where we can talk, listen to people who are influential to our lives, or they may potentially affect our lives through podcast interviews. Those are great,
Right.
instead of listening via some 60 minutes where it's very filtered, it has their own agenda. You're hearing from the horse's mouth every time in any podcast.
You
So
know how,
when you okay.
sorry, you know how I look at podcasts,
Mm,
especially when you talking about like Dame Dash, a guy like that. It's because we all have different ways of learning in school. There's a lot of people that just can't sit and listen, right? We have libraries, we have internet, excuse me, but a lot of people is not going to take the time to research. So to me, podcast is a different way of learning that actually
absolutely.
speaks to me, right?
Absolutely.
So when I hear him speak in a podcast, I'm actually like so focused and
Yeah.
I'm listening. And there's times where I'll rewind just to see what did he just really say that?
Yeah.
And then I pause and go, what did he mean by that? Right. So it's a different way, the way I see it, it's a different way of learning, even though I'm not saying, podcast is going to teach you to be a doctor or anything, but
Mhm.
depending who you listen to, you can take so much away
Yes.
from the person being interviewed, like Dane Dash, bro. You and I, we
Yeah.
know, but yeah,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
just look at podcasts as another way of learning,
it
in my
gives you an
opinion.
opportunity to like almost, because how often are we going to be able to sit with some of these people like Elon Musk and Kanye West, pick their brains if the interviewer is good enough at what they do and having a conversation to find out the ins and outs and what makes somebody tick. And these people are like obviously very successful and very famous for a reason. So what they have to say is important, right? So being able to be a fly on the wall and watching them have a conversation and kind of seeing how their brain works. And Dame Dash is just one of those, just the first 15 minutes. Like if you don't want to watch all of it, I guarantee you, if you start watching, you like that stuff, watch the first 15 minutes. You'll get through it. I promise you. It's
Would
great.
you say the first 20 minutes is 40 minutes?
Yeah, because you the pods and take notes. If you're like me, I like to take notes of things like that.
Yeah.
Or you just like, wait a second, wait. I got to
Yeah.
go back and look at what did he just say? Like he said so many great things that it's a whole podcast in itself. Just breaking down his podcast.
Yeah, and it's crazy that people will actually look at him, listen to him, and what they see is, oh, he's so ignorant. Oh, he's so.
Here's
I'm
the
like,
thing:
that's what you see.
it depends on your
You're on a
vibration.
different. Yeah, I was gonna say you're on a different frequency.
If you because he's on boss mode, right? He's like he
Hundred
talked about the
percent.
NFL. We're already in it. I'm gonna talk about Dame Dash. I'm sorry, I'm gonna hijack it. And we'll talk and go back and look at it, right?
Yes,
Little
sir.
spoilers, but not too much. But like he has an issue with the NFL because the NFL has all white owners. He's got owner money, but they're making him jump through hoops to petition, apply, and get it. He goes, "You're making me jump through hoops to get a seat at your table. I don't want a seat at your table." He thinks boss mode. I don't want a team. I want to have my own league, and I want
Mm.
to grow my league and make it so good that you want to come to my table now. Like he
Right.
has that mentality about everything he does. And he even said at the end of this latest podcast, what was it? What's the name of the podcast with
Up,
all,
up in smoke. No.
uh,
Do you want this?
all the smoke, all the
All the
smoke. That's why
smoke.
we work together. I got it. All the smoke, right? So like it was on with them. So looking at Dame Dash, all the smoke. It's a great hour and a half. But how he just talks about like not not giving in, blazing your own trail. If because a
Hmm.
lot of us are thinking like we're busy trying to fit into like the world in the way that it is, and it's built unfairly and to some degrees and askew to some degrees. When you can blaze your own trail, the internet is there. Do what you need to do to become successful via the internet. People are
Yeah.
doing it. Charleston White was saying it, right? So
But
just
what do
do it.
we? But what do people do with social media? They take the opposite of the whole thing, dump down the information,
Yeah.
and make the person seem like they're nuts. Especially when he says, "You know what? I don't want to sit with y'all. I'm gonna make my own seat." Right, like
Mhm.
you said. No, you're gonna come over here. I'm gonna build my own. Do you know how much? how many people just look at it and go, "Yo, this guy, the audacity to say that." Well, why not?
Yeah, but he was
He's done
also
things
he was a hip hop mogul at 19,
exactly,
and he's been rich and famous since. And
exactly.
everything that he's done, he has his own TV show, he has his own network, he has
Mhm.
his own everything, his own clothing line, he has his own everything. And it started with nothing. Oh, drug money, but you know, Kennedy's did too. So, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. But he's open about it. He's like, me and Jay was rapping about. Jay was rapping about stuff we were doing on Reasonable Doubt.
I mean, like that shouldn't even matter. He made something out of it, though. You know what I'm saying? It's what you do
I
with
agree.
it.
I agree. I agree 100.
So
Percent But it's just he has a different vibe. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
look up
And
any Dane's freaking interview because listen, man, all you're gonna see is the little sound bites on the internet because somebody wants to get famous and get clicks, on their websites and their channel. So yeah, they'll take the craziest thing about a person and put it out there, but that shouldn't stop you from listening to what a person's got to say. Because me, I listen to Dane. I'm just like, oh my god, this is what I needed to hear.
yeah,
And I've used a lot of the stuff that he says, and I actually believe in those things. By, like you said, make your own path. Go that way. Why do I have to go that way? Let me see what's
yeah,
over here. Just because you didn't go there, you went that way, and it worked out for you. Who says I have to go through you to
right.
get there? And why do I have to pick your brains to get there? You may not even want to share that information. You know what? Let me see what's over here.
And he
I'm
said, you know what he said? Sorry. He
go
said,
ahead.
I don't want a handout. I don't want anyone to give me anything because then I got to be nice to you. Not that he doesn't want to be nice to you, but
Right.
he wants to be nice to you on his terms. He's the type of person that everything is on his terms. It's not like I'm not going to play your game if we ain't going to be like cool. He's got people that he's cool with in his world and around his
Yeah.
professional circuit, but like he just has this mentality about him. And another big piece was when he was trying to get one of the hosts, what's his name? He said, what is your dream? He goes, I want to act. And he goes, what's stopping you? He had a
Mhm.
conversation with him, and everything. And as soon as he asked him that, the responses to the dude that that he asked it what he
Jackson.
dreamed about, Jackson, yeah, Jackson, and he kept making excuses and thinking negatively. And he goes, the best thought should be the first shot. The first thought should be the best thought in anything that you do. If the first thought is a negative thought, like, oh, I should join. Think about like a young kid who wants to join the basketball team. If the first thought after that, like, oh, I should join the basketball team, and if the first thought is, I probably ain't gonna make the team, guess what? You're not gonna make the team because you're not gonna try. You've already shut yourself down.
Yeah.
But if you
It-
say, let me try out for, hold on, let me try out for the team.
yeah.
The best case scenario is I make the team.
True.
The worst
It,
case is like I don't make it. But if I
it,
don't try, I don't
it's
make it either.
it's funny though because Jackson was just trying to throw every excuse in the book, and he kept coming back at him. And I think
Shut it
Jackson
down.
kind of froze up a little. It's like, wait.
You put them on the
Like,
spot. Yeah.
can't say no, bro. You only saying no is an excuse.
But we
And
need people like that in our
yeah,
lives, right? We need people like that in our lives for a couple of things, right? There's nothing that I dislike more personally than if I come to you with a dream, a hope, an idea, and you shoot it down
right.
with your negative words. It's bad enough that I've got my own negative stuff inside my head,
Yeah.
but if I have the
I was just
balls,
gonna say, you come to me to get different light besides your thought, and now I'm just adding to what you've been thinking.
right?
Now it gets nowhere.
Right. So, but the way you want to do is you want to support
Yeah.
it. You want to say that's a great idea. You should try that. I think it'd be great if you do that. And I encourage everybody who's watching. If you have somebody in your life that comes up to you, I guarantee you they'll be more successful and they'll be more appreciative of you because you looked up for them when you didn't even think about it. You were just like, oh, that
Right.
sounds great. You probably should do that. If your friend is like, like Steve, you want to be a comedian, right? You're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing stand up, and I'm like, nah, you're not funny. They're gonna laugh you out of there. That's the
Right.
worst friend to have. Get rid of friends like that.
100%.
Now, there's a difference with being real, right? Be like, you got a speech impediment. Hey, maybe you could use that in part of your skit. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm not saying lie to somebody. I'm saying support. There's a difference between the two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you support someone, they're going to do
Yeah.
great things.
And the thing about that little part that you're talking about with Dame, I think the best part of it is when Jackson's just like saying no, 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 and he's like, and so what Dane was telling him was correct. It's like, no, you're just adding things that's not there. You're just stopping your own self. But the greatest thing he did was actually get up, use his own camera, and says, Go ahead, action. Tell him. Let's do a little role where you got a problem with him because with a girl, and he did it, and it was over,
bro. And it was amazing.
and it was
Did you
great.
did you feel the tension? Did you feel like it felt real? I was like, oh, I'm
Yes.
here. And even Homeboy said it was so good it threw me off.
Yeah, Gio, I was so shocked that he did such a good job in like 20 seconds of acting. I was like, Jackson acting. You know when you like some of these actors like, hey, did you just call my
Yeah,
girl? I expected that, but
yeah.
he went into it like
He
this
went all the
because
way in. He hit a switch.
is it because Dane believed in him in that
He was on
moment?
the spot, and remember, he's doing a podcast, so his mentality is kind of like on the. He's already on, right?
Yeah,
He's on full up. So that all added to it, but he has it in him. We all have it in us. It's just about our
it's true.
thought process, where we are at that time. Like, go do what you want to do, man. Enjoy your time, have
Yeah.
fun, be the best you possibly can, and find people that are around you that are going to give you positive talk.
But it was great though to watch because like all the excuses you can throw, that man used your own set, your own camera, and said, "Go,
He said, "You got everything you need.
you
What's
got it all
stopping you?"
here."
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. No, but
yeah.
that's the
Well,
greatness of Dame. That's what he does. And imagine how he talks to
100%.
himself. If he talks to somebody else like that, that's how he talks to himself. And it's the same goes for that friend that you don't want to have, that you bring up your idea and they shoot it down. Guess how they talk to themselves? They talk to themselves that negative. And misery loves company.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
true.
Surround yourself with people that are gonna uplift you, that talk and do the things that you want to get done in your life. Otherwise, they're just roadblocks.
Yeah, and I think what he said too. I wrote it down. He said the death of a dream is the best funeral. Bro, I
Yep.
had to I had to go back and just go,
Yeah.
wait a second, what?
Yeah.
Then he just said, well, that dream is done. Have
What's
another
next?
one.
On to the next one. And he
What are we,
said,
what are we
he's
doing?
he said a couple of things. I got notes everywhere. Like it's crazy. But he said something like, and we may be spitfiring comments for like the next hour. I don't know. But he said when they talked about his mother who passed away from asthma when he was 15, right? They talked about it and they said, how was that? And that was a great question because he said, and this is another reason why he's so great. Dame said, it made me fearless. He's like, when the worst thing you can think of happening happens, then what is there to be afraid of? And I was like, oh, I had to rewind it. I was like, you got to be
Yeah.
kidding me. Just
No,
think
you know what
about
it
that.
is? He said the fear was gone because it's like this is the person that I don't want to say holds you back, but this is the person you trust is no longer here. You should
And
have
he
no
was,
fear at that
and he's,
point.
and he's like, and if I die, I get to see my mother again in heaven.
Right. Damn, that's
That's
deep.
crazy. That is
That's deep,
crazy.
man.
But he had so many things. I got notes on notes over here. It's just ridiculous. Some of the things that he said that is just like that. If you're not picking up on it, if you're not on the same frequency, you're not receiving that.
But that's the thing too, man, because when you're on that level, man, it feels amazing. Cause like even when Gio says something that I've been thinking, but I didn't tell Gio, all I can do is smile and go,
Mhm.
it like when I don't want to say you need somebody to reinsure or like give you a pat in the back or anything, but it does feel good when you surround people that thinks not only thinks like you, but support you. Like you said, just a support. You don't have to lie to someone and say, well, you don't know how to speak well, but you're trying to be a promoter or something like that. But you can always be honest in a different way. Maybe you say, hey, you won't be the best at this, but what if we try this? See, that's a good friend instead of just saying, oh, bro, you wait.
Right.
The thing that I've heard most of my time is you're going to waste your money.
Yeah. And
My money at that.
yeah.
Oh, you're just
No,
going to waste
but
your
Dame
money.
says that he goes, no loss is a loss. You learn from a loss.
Right.
You
What
know
do
what
you
I mean?
mean?
Experience is experience. You know what
But
I
that's,
mean?
but isn't that what school is? What do you, everything you've learned is an experience of somebody else. Everything you could think of in this planet, nobody just went, oh, this is how you do it. It's an experience of somebody else who had that experience. When you talk about history, well, this person had an experience, wrote it down. Now we're being taught. Well, this person had this experience. That's how they know if you touch this, you're going to burn. It's all based on experience.
Yeah,
So no
absolutely.
experience is a wasted experience. It's something you could learn from. You just got to
Yeah.
get your mind there. That's all. But yeah, oh man. Hey, listen, I will tell people, man, anything with Dane, go ahead, look at it.
Yeah. Lock
Uh
it in. Yep.
look it up, listen. Um Even if you don't like the guy, don't look at things that way. Just go with an open mind. And I think, Gio, you say that quite often. Go with open mind, and you'll take something away from anything, even if it's a person you really don't like. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right, let's you do a U turn back to top three comedians. Do you have a number two
Um,
that you like?
yeah, I don't have his name off the top of my head, and I don't. He was on Joe Rogan. He's a chubby white guy. He broke his wrist trying to dunk a basketball. Can't remember his name.
Brusher? No,
I,
I know who you talking about. He takes his shirt off all the time. Oh my god.
I don't remember his name, but he's great. So it doesn't,
Oh my god. I don't know if it's Brett Brusher or something like that,
No,
but
I don't
I
know.
know who you. I
Mhm.
know who you're talking about though. Because he was trying to go play basketball and then he.
Tom Segura. There it is.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I knew Steve was gonna come in clutch. I was just giving you a minute, Steve, to type that. Steve's
Yeah.
probably typing fast. Steve's probably like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Brad is the other guy. They all hang out together. It's those.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Segura. His comedy is different. His delivery is just he's just kind of like whatever, and he says it is so hilariously outside of the box that if you're not with it, I vibe with him. If I chilled with him, it would be a wrap. It'd be a wrap. It'd be a
Yeah.
friggin' wrap.
It's funny. I saw his arm. Like it was
Oh, it was
like
bad.
this. I was
And he's
like,
already heavy and unathletic and he slipped or whatever. And it was just bad. And he all of his fat slapped on that
yeah.
basketball court. Yeah. And he
And
has a
you should.
podcast. That's right. He has a podcast. Go check him out.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
You should hear him tell the story of how he broke his arm. Like he
Yeah.
can't tell that story. Like dying. Like
Yeah.
he
He was on Joe Rogan. He
crying.
told shortly
Yeah.
after. Yeah. That's
Now
great.
that's a good one. I do watch his stuff and his podcast with the girl. My second one, man. Listen, my first one was Patrice O'Neill, and these two
Yeah.
guys are cut from the same cloth. So my second one is Corey Holcomb. Like, if you think Patrice O'Neill is crazy, we have a walking Patrice O'Neill, so to speak. And this guy has no filters at all, man. And it's why I love him because he's him. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. To
Yeah.
me, that's what makes Corey funny. And at the same time, though, because he's brutally honest, is also one of the reasons why you don't really hear about him. You don't see Corey on shows. You don't see Corey on big time TV
That's what I'm saying.
because of
He's
that.
not
He
he's
has,
not built for that. Yeah.
bro, he is quote unquote Patrice O'Neill. I'm telling you, man.
I mean, again, we're this list that we're doing is like, not Dave Chappelle, not Eddie
Right.
Murphy. Like, you know what I mean? We're kind of like
Yeah.
these unsung heroes that like what some people know exactly who they are because they are famous, but there are
Right.
some people that may not, right? But the list that you got is interesting because you got like the no filter kind of guys. Like, I
Yeah.
know you like comedy, but it seems like you like those guys that are just like,
Where's the
you know,
line, bro? That's what I'm saying.
I,
It's so good to hear though. In
you like people pushing the line, pushing the envelope,
yeah,
and the subjects that are touchy.
yeah. And
Yeah,
and they're comedians. It's see the funniest comedy to me is the real stuff. Stuff
they're
that might
very
go,
observative. They're
ooh,
very smart,
yes.
right? And comedians get a bad rap because the fool, the jokester, right? And at school they're not good because that's just not the way that they're very observative and they need feedback from things that they do, right? So like they get a bad rap at school as being like, yeah, that kid was not. He was a bit of a loof. He was kind of silly, but
Hmm.
they're very intellectual. They're very observant, and
Yeah, I think we might have lost Geo. But yeah, Andrew Schultz is a beast. Yeah, I love Andrew Schultz, man. As a matter of fact, I watch Andrew's podcast quite often. Fragrant 2. Yeah, I actually even like the name because of I'm a basketball head. So yeah, Gio, you probably want to head out and come back in. You literally have one bar. Um, I don't know which Wi-Fi you're actually still. I don't know if it's your neighbor's Wi-Fi or you're still at McDonald's trying to do a podcast. Um, Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Oh no, I believe me. I know exactly who you're talking about, man. I think Gio's trying to make a way back in, but yeah. Um, I can actually go to my third until Gio gets situated. One, I okay. To me, this is a very sleeper, and you guys might probably heard of him, but to me, JB Smooth. JB Smooth is one of my guy, man. Like, and for those that don't know him, he's been on a lot of things, especially um, JB's been on Saturday Night Live. He's got a couple of commercial, but JB Smooth is my third. And if you like Seinfeld, please watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. And JB Smooth is on there. He's the bald black dude. If you like that show, you know what I'm talking about. JB Smooth is so underrated as a comedian. I am telling you, man.
Mhm.
He would have you dying, bro. So yeah, Gio, I know you dropped. So I don't. That was my third pick was JB Smooth, and I don't know if
Yeah, yeah,
you know who JB is.
yeah,
JB is
yeah,
so
yeah.
like his comedy's not crazy, like Corey Holcomb type, no filter, but it's like it's so like to me, it's not even comedy. It's just like
It's a good
y-
conversation, like how
yeah,
he does it.
you don't want to like when something happens and you're so quick with the joke, like things are just happening.
Yeah,
You just see funny and everything. Like we could just be walking, then you see a funny and go, "Yo, did you just see that?" And then that's how he
it's
is.
all ad lib. Like he's
It's
kind of it's just
yeah,
going with the flow. Yeah,
yeah.
like
Oh,
Schultz. Schultz
I
does
love
that
him,
very
man.
good. The crowd interaction with Schultz is great,
He's
and he's
good.
awesome.
He's good.
Yeah.
Do you have a three? Number three? Anybody you can think
Yeah,
of?
I had to pay my internet bill real quick, make sure the internet came back on. But I heard most of what you were saying. I got back on
Did
relatively
you pick
fast
up
this
your
time.
order? Because I figured you was at the McDonald's stealing
I need
Wi-Fi,
to get the
man.
receipt. You know what I mean? Make sure everything was good. Nah, but we're good. Hopefully it sticks around. I mean, I think everything looks good so far, but we'll just keep it moving. You know.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
yeah, my third one again. It's going off of a list of people that may be somewhat like if you're in comedians, you'll probably know him, but if you may not, you may know. But Joe Coy, you know who Joe Coy is?
Yes.
Joe Coy is hilarious. You know what I mean? He's known for like he's half Filipino and half white. His dad was in the army. His mom was Filipino, so in the Philippines and stuff like that. But his biggest thing, his comedy is like he does his mom's voice, kind of like Fluffy does the girl voice. He does his mom's voice with the Filipino accent. Just kills me. Did you use Bix? Bix, you put it on your feet. I was like, she don't play, man. Like, I love how he does that. He makes fun of his son. I don't know how his son handles it, other than the fact that he has rich cars. He's got money, he's got cars, and his dad's famous, and he's famous, but his dad be saying some like things, about him, like, getting pink eye as a kid, like funny stuff. But he's
Yeah.
hilarious.
No, he's funny, man. I
Joe
That's a
Coy.
good one. That's a good one, man. I
I love Joe Coy.
His voice and like he's the happiest comedian I've ever seen in my life
He
too.
is. Yeah.
He's just got a smile telling a joke. I was like, yo, look at this dude, bro.
It's such good
But
comedy. It's such good comedy. It's light. It's hilarious. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, I do like it.
I'm
Well,
surprised. Hey, I'm surprised you didn't say Russell Peters, man, because I know you like Russell Peters.
no, listen, I know. See, Gio is being a comedian right now because,
The
yeah,
similarities. Is that why? You do look like him.
I,
Oh,
I do love Russell Peters. I'm not gonna lie. I
he's
love
good.
Russell
Yeah.
Peters, but I'm gonna agree with Vontae here. Look, you guys might think I'm lying. I don't know if you'll see it. All the way at the bottom, Joey Diaz. It's
Yeah.
hard to see because it's blurry. But bro, I have Joey Diaz. I'm talking about where I had no room left. I wrote Joey Diaz because like Joey, like his comedy is he's the same as
He's
Corey, man.
raw.
It's
He's
like
raw. He's Brooklyn. Is he
there's no
Brooklyn?
filter, bro.
I know he's New York. I don't
Yes.
know if he's Brooklyn, but I think he's Brooklyn.
This dude
Um,
said, my mother taught me how to shoot. I went in there, started shooting guns. She gave me a little bit of
yeah.
coke. I gave it to the guy, got money. We did coke.
I,
I was 5 years old. I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah, he's
This
had a
is
hell
like
of a life.
real
He's had a
life
hell of a life.
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he grew up in like the 60s, 70s. So it's like he's old school, old school. You know
love
what I
it,
mean?
man.
He ain't gonna get
Love Joey
offended by
Diaz.
a wife beater. You know what I mean? He calls it a wife beater. He wears the wife beater. You know, he isn't. No, I'm just kidding.
First of all, Joey's the type to say, I would never beat my wife unless I have that shirt on.
Yep.
Um, I didn't say me, I said Joey. So, um, anyways, hey, chat, listen, man, I appreciate you guys coming through, showing some love. I know we were all over the place, and I think that's a good podcast, though. We're all over the place because we're probably just eager to get things out. We want to talk, and we're here. Our brains are running. I love it that way. I like chaos. So, that structure stuff is cool, but we love a little chaos. We were everywhere. I love it. So, but before we get out of here, though, chat, let me know if there's anything you recommend to us, and it could be anything. And it's something we want to try at the end of every podcast. Gio, I don't know if you have some sort of recommendation to me, the chat, people listening, just because you never know what your recommendation may do for somebody. So it could be anything. Do you have anything specific in mind?
Um, like a recommendation for someone like to watch or do or whatever, right?
It could be food. It could be a show. It could be just anything. You know what? It could be I don't know, a bra or a headset. Anything. It's your recommendations, man.
Um, my thing is try what I'm trying. Try to be open, try to be honest regularly, or just try it. Like, be somewhere and try to do something either spontaneous or light or happy, or you see somebody, just say hello to somebody in the elevator, right? Because I do that. You'd be surprised the conversation that you have. You know what I mean? Like, you live with people in this world, you might as well share it and enjoy it or whatever, instead of like having that 10 seconds of awkwardness. You know what I mean? Just have a conversation with somebody. You know what I mean?
The elevator is perfect though. You can make it
Yeah.
like there's so many ways you can introduce yourself in the elevator. You can actually just look at the person and just go into.
I recently had something like that. I was going for a job interview that I was talking to some folks. I was dressed to the nine, like nice, right? Suit and everything. So in the elevator with a lady who was a little bit older than me. And then she was sitting there and she's like facing me and I'm facing her. And we're for those like 10 seconds of awkwardness. And she's like, you look really nice. And I was like, you're damn right. No, I was like, well, thank you very much. But like, out of all the things she could have said, I mean, I look nice. So, you know what I mean? She was, but like, it was good. Find out she was on, she's getting ready to go to her daughter's, like, daughter's getting ready to have a child. I would have known that. Not, do I need to
Yeah.
know it? No, but it's better than the 10 seconds of awkwardness.
Yeah.
You
And
know what I
plus
mean?
you never know who could be in the elevator that, who
Absolutely.
knows what could be from. And Jay, you already know the elevator. You were looking at all four sides because the reflection is just there. You just like,
It's
yeah,
so bad. What else? What is there
yeah.
anything else like that that's awkward like that you just like, you know?
But the elevator is just it could
Yeah.
be a lot because it's like it's you and I in here.
Yeah. You know what else is
Who's gonna
funny
say
too?
what?
Yeah, it's a confined space with somebody who's they're in your vibration bubble or whatever, and it's just awkward. You know what I mean? Why not break it? I'm all about breaking the awkwardness and just making it, because you'll be surprised. You connect with people. You know what I
I
mean?
like to make
Like,
it worse because it's just funny at that point. It's like,
yeah.
where we going? Where we gonna run somewhere? Hey, what up?
Another recommendation. It's nothing big, but it's you remember reality TV show. These days is a whole bunch. Everything's like a regular show. This is a reality TV show. Everything's reality, virtual reality. But like, I'm talking about early 2000 real world, road rules. I know Steve knows that stuff. He was all about it. But we grew up on that, right? And thinking that's a great way to live and all that stuff. There's a reality show that my wife and I are watching, I think, and we're getting stuff out of it. Um, it's called Ultimatum, right? And I don't know how old, maybe 2020, 2021, right? And it's about, like, it's a group of couples that have
It's
been
on my
together two
list.
2 years or so. It's great. 2 years or so together, and one of those people in this relationship is going to give the ultimatum to the other, like, hey, we've been together 2 years. We're going to go through this experience on this show. Afterwards, we either got to get married or we got to split up. This is the ultimatum. But say there's six couples, so there's 12 people, six men, six women. They all get to mingle in the same like hotel area, and they get to like meet each other and even date the other males and other females in the group, and see what, a lot of times when people have like commitment issues, they're concerned about what's, making the commitment. Is it what I want? Is something else what I want? You know what I mean? So they get
Mm,
to make these relationships after being in a relationship for 2 years, and then like spend 2 weeks dating. Well, spend a week dating everybody, and then spend a week specifically choosing one of those people. And then there's like love triangles, and it gets crazy.
yeah.
But hold on, the reason behind that too is like watching people go through this accelerated process of like a relationship and communicating. Um, she said, Steve, I see Steve's comment. Um, someone else. It's great. I mean, I thought at first I thought it was kind of like a chick flick thing, but you get a lot of stuff out of relationships from it,
Yeah.
because that couple comes back together for the last 3 weeks, and now they got experience with somebody else for 3 weeks and seeing the good, the bad, the different, and then they come back and then you get a better idea. Like, is this what I want? Are you what I want forever and whatnot?
Mm,
So great show. It's a great show.
yeah. And it's funny that Steve said someone else recommended it too. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark, Steve. I'm gonna say it was Joe Button that recommended that because
Yeah,
that's where I heard it from. First time I've ever heard of the show was Joe Button from yesterday's podcast, and he said, and he was talking about Jessica Simpson and the husband, whatever his name is, from 98 Degrees, whatever. They're the producers of the show, and he was going on and on. He was just like, bro, all you got to do is put two ghetto people in there. That show's amazing. I was like, okay, I wrote it down. I was like, okay, I got to check out the show. So yeah, I think people are talking about that show, so it's definitely on my list.
yeah, it's pretty
Um,
good.
my recommendation is sort of the same realm that you're talking about, George. It's called 90 Day Fiance. Now, when I've heard of this show, I thought it was the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. I'm like, wait, you're gonna marry someone that you never live with based on the conversation you guys had on the phone or on the internet by texting, and that is it.
Yeah,
And a little bit of sexy time on FaceTime. That's it. And I'm just like, this is so stupid. So 9 seasons go, I think 8 seasons. Sorry, I think 8 seasons goes by. I'm like, I'll never watch this. Why would you?
yeah.
So this year I said, you know what? Let me just see what the hell they're talking about. Dude, I can't stop watching. I can't stop watching this show because it's not, you can tell the show is not like, let's say, rigged or planned, just because like the funny comes from the real life situations, right? Because you got a guy who can't speak English but trying to date a person who speaks English, and just the just that is funny to me.
Yeah,
Not only funny to me, but serious to them. They really care about this relationship. And you have characters like one girl is like 2 feet tall, not even joking, and the guy is a high school like hunk, right? And he goes overseas to meet her, not thinking how even the sex is going to be, like how weird it is, how different it is, and the fact that now you got to push this person around. Now it's a whole different thing, dude. It is one of the funniest and probably the best show I've ever seen in my life.
I gotta check it out.
90 Day Fiance. Oh, bro, if you and your girl likes the show you just said, you guys are gonna be dying. And not only that, the season is done, right?
Mhm.
They did the whole after the show, they meet up and all that stuff.
Yeah,
The update, dude. You guys might find yourselves been watching that thing, and you guys will not move. Uh, you're gonna end up ordering food for the kids because nobody's getting up to
yeah.
go cook, dude. It is that good. Please watch 90 Day
Yeah.
Fiance. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen on TV history. As to now, I'm telling you, please watch it. That's my recommendation, man. All right. Anything on the chat? Netflix. Yeah, the show that Gio was talking about is on Netflix, I believe. Uh, but yeah, I would definitely say what the
Mm-mm.
fiance visa they are responsible for
That's
other
a
person
10-year
10 years.
commitment. God damn.
Bro. Yeah, and that's the
Nah.
thing too. Now you're trying to figure out like, do they want visa? And here's the thing too. Nobody looks for love in their state. Everybody's like, one is in UK, one is in Puerto Rico. I'm like, how, there's nobody in Puerto Rico? I can find quite a few people in Puerto Rico that I really like, but
I know.
I guess it's
Yeah.
faith. It is what it is. But I think that's what's so good about the show, man, is the fact that, they got the culture shock by going to another place. That when they get there, they don't
Yeah.
speak the language.
That's
But
crazy. What's
dude,
the what's the purpose?
bro,
Do they move in together for 90 days and do whatever and then
what they do is a lot of them has been talking for so long, and they finally get to meet.
yeah.
And what they try to do is they go on vacation
Oh, I
for like
gotcha.
2-3 weeks, and it's like, we got to get married, so when I go back home, then I can get you like to the States or something like that, right? But to me, I was just like, why would you go somewhere to marry somebody? Maybe they just want the visa. But that's the beauty of it. Like, there's some good stories that came out of it. I will say
Sounds
that.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro, the show, you don't. It just writes itself. The show does not need a writer, dude. It is the most
Yeah.
funniest thing I've ever
That's
seen
what
on
that's what's
TV.
compelling and so great about like reality shows. You don't have to pay them. Like you can pay them through like a reward system, like you get $1 million at the end of the show or whatever, or just entertainment or fame itself. But like, and the act, not the acting, but like the entertainment is great. That's why I used to love Real
Hmm.
World Road Rules, man.
Yeah,
Great.
I think we watched all. I don't say all of them, but we were addicted to.
That's what Nick Lachey, like the old singer from like 98 Degrees, him and his wife, they create a couple of shows like that, and Ultimatum's one of them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
they're making money like that.
yeah, and the funny thing is that I like the one show. Okay, the show that I will not recommend is the Hollywood Wives, and those shows are trash, bro. Because like, Gio, you and I have a disagreement, right? My wife hates my wife. My wife hates your wife. Do you know what the next episode is? Gio's wife and my wife at dinner together again. Then they fight,
Because that's the train wreck. They know what they're like. Hey, let's get them together. How do we get these two people in the room together? It
and
makes
then Gio throws a party. I didn't get invited. I get upset. Then we go to dinner
yeah,
again. Why
absolutely.
am I at dinner
And
with you?
and previous like shows like that set the precedence. When you're on it, you got to be all about the smoke. So it's
Yeah,
like art imitating life and vice versa. It's like you act out because you're on TV on a show where people act out. It's like Jerry Springer show. You're gonna act out because you're on Jerry Springer. You know
right.
what I mean? So it's a little bit different. Your
Yeah.
scenario and your environment affects how the way you're gonna interact with it.
The Hollywood wife thing, I'm good, man. Even the one on VH1 where it's like the hip hop ones, I'm just like, come on, man. How do you guys fight and still go to dinner together again, again? And I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. Is this too much of a setup? Because you,
Yeah,
you literally said, Gio, hit this 10,000 right there. Tech, here's 10,000. Just go have dinner. All right, we'll get this scene. We'll hate each other and we'll do it again next week. I'm just like, nah. So
yep.
that's why I say 90 Day Fiance, bro. It is, at first I thought it was a joke, but you can see a lot of people, like it's serious, man. And that's what makes it so funny for me. So
There is one more. I haven't watched it. Well, I watched some of it. Right, my wife watches this show. It's on Netflix. Something to Bridgerton.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like old Victorian style. Everyone's got the big dresses and the fancy clothes, and they're all like dukes and earls or whatever. But the acting and dialogue is amazing. You know how I
Yeah.
know this? I was painting my house, and then like my headset like turned off between songs, and I caught a conversation, and then I started listening. And I would sit and watch it when she would watch a little bit. Like a movie or a TV show is good when you sit down and you end up watching until the credits roll. Like that's kind of how this is. Even though I don't know the
Mm,
plot, just what's going on right then and there. Like she's leaving and he chases her. And I'm like,
yeah.
this is the type of stuff, y'all chicks be watching. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, I'm like watching it too. And I'm like,
So who you're like?
Something Bridgerton. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
It's like, who's that? She leaving?
Yeah. I know. You end up
Oh.
asking all kinds of questions because you're kind of interested. You're like, wait, is that the husband? No, that's the brother. What the shit? But it's just that weird.
Okay.
I do that a lot. My wife will watch something and I become I become annoying because I'm asking questions and she's trying to watch it, but I'm interested, but not interested, but asking questions.
Yeah, that's why I was talking about the TMZ thing when I said my girlfriend was watching, but I really
Yeah.
wasn't. I was kind of like, I couldn't help it, man. I was like, huh?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
painting and listening to the conversation. And then like the scenes, the sexual scenes are intense.
yeah. I definitely got to watch it now.
Those things that I was like, oh, I was like, that they're in it. They're doing it.
Happily, Tech, have you watched the Happily After episode? Yeah, I have. Yes. Look, I'm all about the 90 Fiance. I thought that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, but after watching it, dude, I freaking love it, man. Like, if you really want to laugh and like, it's one of those shows where it's like you pick a couple and you want to like the best for them. You can't help but to pick a couple. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you,
yeah. You
you
have to.
can't.
It makes you invested in the show.
Yes.
You know,
Bro,
like I do that. I'm like, which couple you think is gonna get together? Which one's the best? Which one do you like? You know,
listen, if you guys end up watching it, all I can tell you is Gino. I couldn't stop saying Gino's name as if like Gino was my friend. Dude, I just couldn't stop saying Gino's name. When you
yeah,
watch it, you'll understand. You'll say the same thing. Gino's my guy, Gino. So just saying, man. All right, I'm trying to see current songs of classic.
oh yeah, the Bridgerton does that. I
Oh,
think that's
okay.
what this. Yeah, they turn like a Katy Perry song and turn it around into like a classical type of
Ah,
song. They do a great job, and I don't know a lot about it, but I caught onto that, so that's why I know what she's talking about.
I don't like
It is
musicals.
like a soap opera though. No, it's just like the background music and the
Okay.
transition music, but it'll be like a Taylor Swift type song, but just classic switch to a classical way, but it fits with the theme of the music. It's
Yeah.
really done well.
All right. Hopefully Steve can back me up on this too. Because I feel like Steve is the Jamie of the Joe podcast
I
apparently.
know.
So we'll just talk about it and we'll let Steve research it. But there was a show on MTV where they rapped every line. So it was like a musical, but it was hip hop.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
remember Beyonce was on it. They had celebrities every week. Most Def, bro. I don't remember the name of that show, but that was one of my favorite show on TV at that time. Even though I'm not a fan of the whole like, I'm dancing in the rain
Mhm.
and acting while
Musicals.
you sing. I
Yeah.
I can't get that out of my face. But the hip hop one, oh my god, bro, it
Yeah.
was amazing. The beats and you know when they cut to a different scene, it was just boom, and then the actors and actresses just walks and it's all rap, bro. It's sometimes it's freestyle. Like Most Def did a whole freestyle with Beyonce. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. You know
they
what?
need to bring that back.
Speaking of Most Def, that's when they had asked Dame Dash in one of the interviews, the one that we talked about, who he would watch like a battle rap with. It was Jay-Z and Most Def, is what he said.
Really, that's surprising.
And coming
He
from
said that.
Dame
He said that on that interview.
near the
Yeah,
end.
I gotta finish it then, because yeah, bro. I listen. You know what it is? Because Most Def can go from blah 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 to singing, and then you might be like, oh, okay. I ain't competing with that.
Do you know who he compared today that's like Most Def?
Who?
What's his name that just won Best Album? What's his name? Tyler,
Uh
the Creator.
oh yeah, because
He says
he's
and you know what? I was just listening to his album because of the Grammys. I was like, how did he? I was like, if he beat Khaled and whoever else he was competing against, that album's got to be nice, and that album is nice.
yeah. I mean, Tyler would put a beat on for 3 minutes and not say a word or just hum,
Yeah, but
and
he's very
he's
different.
all over the place. Different. He's
It's
I,
very different. And they even do it in a skit in one of his songs, and I was like, that's
yeah.
nice.
No, I love it, man. Yeah, I think Most Def is so people do sleep on Most Def. I'm telling you, man. Um, Most Def, bro. Like even when he with we did some that album with Talib.
Mhm.
It was great, but like Most Def got some sleepers, man. It's like it's one of those things like you really got to be a fan to find it, because
Absolutely, yeah.
you know. But he's got some stuff, man. Just like I'm talking about, just singing,
Mhm.
terrible singing, but the rhythm of it and what he's saying, it's just it just hits the soul, man.
He's
It's like
got
a
a song. It's like Rolls Royce pull up, Black Boy pull out. I was like, oh, ow, oh,
"Who
oh.
me say shine your light on the world." Man, come on. Anyways, that's my stuff right there. "Who me say shine your light on the world." But anyways, man, hey, chat. We're gonna try to do more recommendations on the next one. I just think it's cool because, uh, and whatever you guys say, I'm gonna look into them too. Like Bridgerton, that's definitely something I'm gonna look
Hey,
into.
watch it with
So
Jackie,
yeah.
and she'll cry the whole time. She'll make sure she drinks water because she will get dehydrated.
Oh man, if you ready, oh man, that's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be
Just tears,
napkins.
tears the whole
Oh,
way through. Both of y'all be crying. Just
I'm emotional,
hey,
but like, bruh, she'll be like,
just
"Oh my god,
it's pretty good.
he's he said hi to him. He finally sees it now." It's like you ain't gotta cry about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, and also what you said too, G. I'm definitely gonna watch that because, like Steve said, he's heard it somewhere because I think a lot of people talking about it. I heard it on the Joe Button podcast, man. I was like, oh, okay, I
yeah, it's
definitely
really good.
gotta watch it, man. It's funny though because Joe Button was like, what he said, Jessica was it Jessica Simpson? Is that her name?
Yeah, what about her?
Who was the creator of the show?
No, it's Lachey, Jessica Simpson's ex-husband.
Jessica Simpson, not yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's her
So
ex-husband. Yeah,
Joe Button said those two should be on the show. I'm gonna be honest with you. They look like they need an ultimatum themselves. Because
BBT
they
says she likes happy endings. What's going on? What's going on in here, BBT? What's
wait,
going on?
what? I like happy endings to shows. I mean, I
Oh, to
listen.
shows. Ah, gotcha. Tracking.
Oh, oh, damn. I was thinking about something else. All right.
Yeah, see, yeah, they're not together. They're divorced. They've been divorced. But he's been married to like that actress. I think she is, whatever her name is. BBT. I know you know her name.
Damn, BB. I was gonna go with your happy ending. I was just gonna end it right there. I was so happy. My brain went somewhere, and I was damn. But anyways, man, we'll leave it here. And if you guys have any any questions, any suggestions to us, let us know. Put it in not only here on the live chat, put it in the comment section as well. So give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Um I like this kind of pod, man. Just just talk, man. So as a matter of fact, I'm disappointed because I think Gio and I we only had one podcast this week. Usually we have two or three, but we didn't really talk that much because I was making calls all week, man. I was spending time with a lot of people on the phone, and they were amazing conversation, man. And I like to have more of those, not just with Gio, but different people. Also, I would say this: I would love to actually talk to Stevie G in the chat
Hell
on the
yeah.
phone, not just messages. I actually want Steve in that group as well. Not that he's not part of it, but it's just been a long time, and and I think sometimes uh, when you know people and you can push people into the right direction, and sometimes you never know that you might need to hear something from one of us. And I love to have a conversation with Steve on the phone, man. We got to get Steve as part of the Chatty Patty crew, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and also, Steve, I don't know what systems you have for gaming, but if you're on Xbox, man, you
He's
definitely
probably in a
add it to.
PlayStation. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised. He stayed. You pulled me out of PlayStation and brought me to Xbox.
yeah,
Kick,
he's
kicking and screaming. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like NBA 2K7, check it out. Look at the way the jerseys look.
yeah. Steve is definitely like a PlayStation, like
PlayStation for sure.
yeah. But I mean, you had a PlayStation, you. I remember
Yes. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto when I'm talking about what PlayStation 2 when you can save your car on the
Yeah.
memory
I had
stick.
the PlayStation too, but when Xbox
You know what I
One
mean?
came out, I
No, three.
switched.
Yeah, because
BBC don't play
360 with
around.
the
Pass it out.
360 with the chat, especially when you went to Japan, like that was a good way to communicate instead of like phone.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we play games and communicate. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, PS5 is life. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's get out of here, man. These guys right here.
I
Listen,
know. So it's
listen. But doesn't it make sense that the Vontae and Steve would be PlayStation guys though? It just
Steve.
fits.
I mean, Steve. I know it's just because Let me tell you what, Steve. I'm gonna tell you this. You just do PlayStation 5 because you had nobody in your life like I did to pull me out of PlayStation life and bring me into Xbox, right? That's the only reason why you're a PS5 fan. Devontae is a little younger, so he's gonna have, you know what I mean? That generation, PlayStation won over that generation. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
next generation coming up is all gonna be Xbox. Like the 9, 10 year olds, if their turd dad didn't make them get a PlayStation, they probably Xbox.
Yeah. Nah. I can see where those two guys are PlayStation guys. Nothing wrong with it, but come and chill with the. As a matter of fact, the good thing about Xbox, you don't really need an Xbox system. Even if you have a PC and you got the app, it's like you got an Xbox. So it
Hmm.
doesn't really, you don't really have to get the actual Xbox. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, Steve, yeah, you got to join the Chatty Patty crew, man. Join us on the Xbox. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Play some games and talk trash, man. Bring that old feeling back, like we used to, because we can't be talking trash and get out there and play ball. Nobody wants to get hurt like that, but
Hey,
we could definitely do it on a
on Steve note, I remember Steve beat my brother in Madden one time, and he got beat up. He got a taste of what I got every time I beat him up in Madden too.
physically beat.
No, yeah, because like Steve didn't know, so he started playing them. They were playing them, and Steve beat him, and Steve was excited, and I'm like, oh shoot, he's gonna get beat. He didn't know he was gonna get beat up. I knew he was gonna get beat up, and then so like the
Wow.
game's over, he's like trying to celebrate, and he got like jumped on and beat up. I was like that's the world that I live in. I win and I run before like when I know I've won and the time hasn't run out, I run away.
Yeah. Hey, maybe next week topic, man. Like, what was your favorite system? Because there's a few we can talk about from PlayStation, Xbox, NES. One of my favorite, Dreamcast. You know, definitely a conversation we can have. Steve, sorry to burst your bubble. Sony does have more exclusives, but that's not going to be happening in the next couple of years, bro, because
Yeah,
they're all going to go to PC. There's too much money there to keep it exclusive on one little box. So
yeah. And
that's going to stop.
maybe this is old news, but like I feel like 5 years ago it was like the community, like the chat community in PlayStation was like stagnant. Like it's not as good as Xbox. I don't know if that's true. I just know Xbox is great.
No, they had issues. And plus, Xbox had it first, right? Like the party stuff. Then they implemented it. But I still think on PlayStation, like when I had PlayStation 4, I felt so alone. Like I was like,
Yeah, but you
nobody
also
wants to
is it
talk.
is it because you are alone, or is it because you just moved into the neighborhood and you don't know anybody? Because
No,
that's a factor.
no, because no, I moved into a neighborhood where I know people lived. But the
But
problem is,
nobody came
yeah,
outside.
no, like Steve said, the exclusive, they're all single players. Like, what I need to talk to you about a single player game?
Yeah,
I'm trying to
exactly.
focus on the
These
story.
goddamn PS5 loners. Y'all are loners. They're not social beings like Xbox.
Hey,
If you have an Xbox and an Android, you go okay in my book.
there you go. Steve, let me tell you something. I don't know which episode it was. I'm
And
going to take a
strawberry
wild
jam.
guess. I'll say episode 5. Go watch that because, like, what we find out, place 43% of PlayStation users use their PlayStation for Pornhub.
Oh,
I'm not making the.
it's a PlayStation, all right.
Oh, they were playing.
They were playing
Yeah.
by themselves with themselves.
Gio, PlayStation just got like I remember somebody said they got like folders or whatever. I was like, what do I need folders for? I just need a different like I can name a section that says stream games, multiplayer, and I add the multiplayer there. That's what's called a folder. But PlayStation, apparently they like it so they can save their websites. It wasn't save game. It's BBC on one folder. I'm just saying. I'm
uh,
just saying, man. All right, man. Let's leave it here, Brent. I'll appreciate you guys for showing love as always. We're gonna try to keep pushing it as we go, man. We try to get better as we go every day. And like I said before, anything you guys want us to talk about, just hey, let us know, man. we really don't, we really don't stress it like that. So, anything you guys want to talk about, let's do it. I think it's even better when it comes from you guys, just to hear us talk about it, give it opinions, our thoughts, and that's pretty much it, man. Well, hopefully, Gio's internet will be good next week. But yeah, Gio, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, the only thing that I want to leave everybody with, one is, appreciate the chat, man. I love how you guys are like, communicating and showing up every week as usual. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, tell people about it, share with other people. And then ultimately, I'm going to leave with a hopefully future famous quote. Enjoy your happy endings by BBT. Other than that, we good.
Talk to yourself and play with yourself. Peace.